minutes. 5, 3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Back.
What's this joke of the week? What's the joke of the week?
What is the joke of the week? We don't know what the joke of the week is.
First time I've seen it advertised.
Hi, everyone. It's 1 hour of madness again with this crazy lot. They made me come on here.
Yes.
Right. Well, good night to Stephen. He's going to go to bed. It's 3:45 in Taiwan. Go to bed.
Wow.
Have a great
He's
show.
not going to bed. He's going to have a bath.
He's going to bed. 3:45. Well, 3:45 in the afternoon or in the morning. Right. Let's have a quick say hello to Patrick and Mikey and Northeast FPV. Watch your videos. Northeast FPV. Watch the video.
Oh, you just remembered me.
Brian and Jay and Drone Views Media, which is Alan, and Jerry, Steve Knowles, Kim. Hi, Kim. Who else we got here? Oh, Between the Lakes, Mikey and Yvonne. How you doing?
Oh,
Caroline,
good.
Caroline's
Sally.
Caroline.
Facebook
Hi, Sally.
tonight.
Sally. And who else we got? Anyone else? I think I missed anyone? No, I think if I've missed anyone, my apologies, but welcome anyway. Right. So, what's everyone been doing? Everyone been enjoying themselves?
Yes, we have.
Haven't we?
Yes.
We were out in the desert. We were flying in the desert on Tuesday, and it was superb. Absolutely superb.
I watched the video. Very, very. I mean, that's a real. Where is that then? It looks very, very busy.
Top of Mercy near
Fortuna,
Yeah,
Arcana and Fortuna.
Yeah.
And it was so, and it's the first time I've had the van out of Drone League.
It was
Fortuna,
a really cool wind, and the van gave us perfect shelter.
That van really looked the part.
I'll tell you what, Kev, it just, I was showing off. Absolutely showing off.
Why not?
I put the Toldos out on it, and I put this out, and I put that out, and I thought they're going to say something soon. The deck chairs, yeah.
And why not?
And it was perfect. So it will be coming with us each time now.
That's what it's for. It's great.
Yeah, but we'll have the bar in that as well next time.
The bar?
Yeah, bath.
I thought you said the bar.
I like the sound of the bar.
The bar. Imagine it.
Harvey's good at bars.
Harvey's got a bar, yeah. Harvey's
got a nice bar, yeah.
Right. Let's bring on our special guest.
Let's welcome this week's Drone Seekers live show special guest.
Hi, Ross from down under.
Ross, how are you, mate? Good morning.
So if anyone watching this wants to know what the weather's going to be tomorrow, look behind Ross. There it
is. He's already in Monday.
It's Monday morning. Yeah.
It's 6:05 a.m.
Wow.
Oh no.
Blimey. There is such a time, is it now?
Yeah.
Are you the only one up, Ross?
Yeah, my wife downstairs. She rang me on the mobile phone because she couldn't be bothered getting out of bed and said, "Stop making so much noise." and I said, "I'm going on this podcast. Give me a break."
Yeah, you just tell her. You tell her.
Watching it, not in bed.
If I was
Yeah.
you, you want to take a tablet up there and say, "There we are, watch this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ross
Closed all
comes
the
down
doors
with
and windows so she couldn't hear a thing.
So it's the wildlife outside making that noise. So anyway, Ross has been making lots of videos and comparison videos with the new Autel drones.
Autel, yeah.
And
Oh,
that-
that bridge
and that-
video was amazing.
Yeah,
I really
We-
liked
we
it.
got- that's what
There was a
last
couple of
week.
bridge
Yeah,
videos.
The one you did at
the
night.
low light one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was two. There was one with the Light Plus at the Story Bridge in the city.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's what I
And
watched
the
last
other
week.
the other video was with the this guy,
Yeah.
The Nano.
which was
No,
another.
plus.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether you can't see it, but that view looks. It's actually you actually look down over the city and you actually can see the bridge that
Wow, it's too
is in
blown
that
out on here, isn't
in the
it?
nano low light video.
I think you showed us that actually, Ross. Last time you were on, we could see it from your terrace.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I like,
But yeah, I
I
mean, the light.
like Caroline's
the light-
question.
It's quite funny because the those two videos I made, they were actually the very first flights I ever did with those two drones. So
Oh, wow.
the light,
Nailed it.
sorry, the where are we? This one was at that bridge just behind me, and then a week later the light turned up, and the very first flight I did was at that Story Bridge. But I only had that well, this guy, if I can put it. That's the
The Evo 2.
Sorry, that's the light,
Oh, the light.
and sorry. To give you an idea of the sizes, if you want. It's still got its jock strap on this Mavic 3, but you can get an idea of the sizes. You know,
Oh,
I got my hands in the way. Sorry,
yeah.
but
Cool.
the what do you call it? The light would be about roughly the same size as the Mavic 3, whereas the you're talking about the Evo 2 and the Mavic 3.
Yeah.
This guy here's the granddaddy as far as the size of the drones is concerned.
A
Is that
folding phone.
heavier than
Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah.
Is that heavier than the Mavic 3? That one you got there, the Autel.
The Evo 2, the Evo 2 is what is it? 1.2. 1.2.
Yeah, so it's heavier than the Mavic 3, isn't it?
And the Mavic 3 is just over 1.
Right. Yep.
And the what do you call it? The Light Plus is about 860 grams. And then of course you got these two guys, the Mini 2 and the what do you call it? The Nano Plus.
Nano Plus.
I mean, you don't need to guess what weight they are, because they're determined by its weight. Those drones.
Caroline wanted to know, Ross, when you're in the southern hemisphere, do you have to rotate in the other direction when calibrating your drone?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the interesting thing is,
He did it standing on his head as well.
yeah, well, you do realise that I'm completely upside down to you guys, literally, on the other side of the planet.
It's funny because I'm just wondering if you can actually rotate the screen and make you feel more at home or something.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, that's good.
That really is Ross.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
That's what I'm really like, on the planet. But the interesting thing, Steve, when you're talking about being on the other side of the, towards the South Pole as opposed to the North Pole, is that when you actually pull out the plug from the sink,
It goes the other way.
the water goes the opposite way.
Yeah,
As it's
I have noticed that.
It's a wonder you don't fall out of the sink, isn't it? Because you're upside down.
It's so weird, isn't it? I remember
exactly, it should be coming out,
Australia.
not in.
I went to Australia and there's a bit where it crosses the line, isn't there?
The hemisphere, yeah.
The
Yeah,
equator.
and it changes the other. That's the word. Yeah.
You can actually
Otherwise
there's a
known
line
as
there,
the
then.
equator.
That's the
Yeah,
one.
Backpack check, backpack check.
Check.
Yeah, I remember like they'd set something up and 20 paces one side you put a leaf in a water thing and it went one way, and 20 paces the other side it went the other way. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I walk differently when I get over the other side of the equator.
But when you think about it, I mean, if it wasn't for gravity, Ross, you'd fall off, wouldn't you?
Oh,
God,
I'm
yeah.
falling off all the time. Don't worry.
He's walking along like this upside down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, just think if you're
was
near
that
the
one of
equator,
opposite?
it's centrifugal force. It's amazing. It doesn't just throw you out into space.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm talking on these pod shows, people say I'm drunk, and I said no, I'm on the other side of the equator.
Keep a good point, actually. The props are the other way around because otherwise it would land. You take off. No, you're just being bloody silly now. Come on. But technically, your drone does that. It defies the law of gravity.
Exactly, it's flying upside down compared to you guys.
Yes. So Ross goes out flying FPVs every day, doesn't realise it. He thinks he's flying the right way up. We all look at him.
Ross, I need to apologize to you. I don't know where we found these people.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. This is entertainment. It's not about drones.
I just wonder
That's your
what
problem, Marcus.
I wonder what all the flat earthers out there are making of Ross.
Well, there's plenty of people that still believe the Earth is flat. You know, there is still a few tinfoil hats out there.
You see, the thing is, Ross, if it was flat, we'd be on the top, you'd be on the bottom.
Yeah.
We'd get you to actually walk to the end and go.
Still be upside down.
Yeah, and
Well, I
I still
haven't
am.
found any corners yet either, so it's just not true.
No.
So I said, look, we all know the world is flat. There you go. See, it is flat.
Especially when you land on it on your ribs, eh?
Yeah. He wasn't going to bring that
Steve,
up.
exploring. How's your ribs now, Steve?
He just had them for tea.
Yeah.
I think he has, yeah.
His spare ribs.
I will say I've just come through a bout of COVID.
Oh no!
I had that in January. I had 3 weeks of it. That was fun.
My son's still upstairs. My son upstairs has still got it. He's up in his room now. He's been in a prison cell for 5 days. Well, 4 days. He's his 5th day tomorrow.
Yeah, so there was no drone flying while I had that. I was in isolation, obviously.
How did you feel anyway, Ross? Was you okay then? Was you or
Who's that?
how
How did you
was
feel?
you in general? I mean, with the COVID, was it?
Well, it affects everyone differently. It ranges from you're in hospital and you die to just having a cough. My wife just had a cough. I wasn't very happy about that because I was a lot sicker.
Oh,
Oh right.
You know, I had for the first day, I went from this time of morning, I felt fine, to that same night, I was in a heavy fever, you know, headaches, aches and pains and all the rest. And then for the next 2.5 weeks, it was just a roller coaster, you know, where you felt good, bad, you know.
yeah. Every time you felt better, I thought you'd think you were getting over it, wouldn't you? And then,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it comes back again, you know.
Oh,
It
nasty.
wasn't much fun, but anyway.
But you're okay now.
Yeah, well, you know, some people
Sounds
say I'm
like
never. Some people say I'm never okay, but you know, I'm better.
Well, we've I don't know about in other countries. We've got a new rule here now that basically after 5 days, if we do a lateral flow test and it's negative, then you're free to go, as it were. Just that's the peak of the isolation, as it were. But you know,
Yeah.
and in March, after March, there is no rules whatsoever. In March, we have no
Spread it
quarantine.
like wildfire. That sounds
Well,
good.
10 Downing Street, they can party like rock stars, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is the thing. I mean, Steve was saying that there was a flat going in London, you know, and I thought it was serious. I said, well, I'll take it. It sounds a great place. And he said, you can't have any parties. I went, no, we won't have any parties. We can say them all.
How do you find the Mavic 3, Ross?
Yeah.
Well, you
How
look
do I
in the
find it?
case and it's right there, Terry.
Let me take the I think I told you before what I think it is.
Yeah.
Jock strap.
The jock strap with the BDSM party attachment. How do I find the Mavic 3? Look, I think the Mavic 3 is the most amazing drone to fly. There's nothing like it apart from if you go into FPV status, but it's just unbelievable to fly. You know, it's super agile, super fast. It's scary actually. The way it flies. So you got to be on your wares. You know, you got to really be aware of what it's doing and all the rest. But to fly, unbelievable. The camera image, the photo images are superb. With the video, it's good, but look, this is just my personal opinion. Everyone's different, but I find the imagery is a little bit soft for my liking. But I mean, you can always adjust that in post editing anyway. That's my thoughts on the Mavic 3.
Question for you there, Ross. Northeast FPVs. How fast is it? How fast is it in normal mode? I mean, what sort of speed are we looking at?
I'm not sure. What is it, about 35 mile an hour? You can
probably about 35, Ross. I think 47 is the top speed in sport mode.
In sport mode.
The thing to remember about that drone is it's not so much how fast it flies straight through the air, but what it does is ascends very quickly and it descends very quickly.
Yeah,
more than normal drones.
Slow, isn't it?
I agree with you, Marcus. The ascent's not the issue. It's more the descent.
It falls
you really
like a
got
rock.
to be aware. Yeah, you really got to be aware of and be looking at your drone. Otherwise, it could be very easy to crash it.
So Patrick's asked him, have you tried the panoramic pictures yet on the MP3? Friends over here are disappointed about the panos.
Well, actually, that's an interesting point. When I was at that, I don't know, that video that you saw on Saturday or your Friday, whatever, at the Hinds Dam there, and it was blowing a gale. It was, I don't know, would have been about 20, 25 knot winds, and the wind's coming directly over the dam wall. So there's a lot of turbulence that you get, you know, behind the dam wall. And I put up the Mavic, and I was trying to take some panoramics of the dam wall itself, but for some reason the turbulence stopped the panoramics every time I was attempting it.
Right.
So I don't know. And I got this guy out, and that's the light, and it completed the panoramas. So I don't know. There was some little bug there.
Maybe it's another fix it needs to
Another update or something needed.
Yeah, and then another interesting point on that particular day, when I went to that Perlingbrook Falls, which is that very big, was it about 120 meter waterfall?
Right.
Wow.
And over the actual wind conditions there were about 100 kilometers an hour on the gust.
Holy cow.
It was really, really howling. But the waterfall was on the leeward side of the wind, and you had to go up, you know, above the tree line, you know, to capture those winds. So, you know, for the larger drones, I thought it was safe enough just to send it out, you know, below the tree line. When I got there, I pulled out the Mavic 3 to do the first video shoot, and I couldn't get GPS lock. I was waiting. I waited about 7 or 8 minutes for the GPS lock, and look, I ended up losing patience with it, and it didn't get a look. And I ended up pulling out the Evo 2 Pro, and I got a GPS within a minute. But interestingly, a mate of mine that was there, he had his Mavic Air 2S, and whilst I had that issue with the GPS, I said, I'll pull out the Mavic Air 2S and see if I can get a GPS lock. And sure enough, he got it within a minute. just like the Evo.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
So it's just
It
the
was really
Mavic
odd.
3 that won't do it.
Yeah.
That's strange, isn't it?
So what happened is, for whatever reason, DJI dropped GLONASS from the satellites that they use to capture a lock with. So now they're using the GPS system, the Chinese Baidu system, and the what's the European system called?
Galileo.
Galileo, yeah.
Galileo, yeah.
And for some reason, and listen, what we don't know is that may or may not be the reason, right? But it's the thing that we know that was changed. But there is definitely a problem with the Mavic 3 and being able to get a satellite lock with it. What's interesting is I've noticed, and Ross, I'd be glad to hear your opinion of this. I've noticed that when I get it up in the air, man, it grabs a bunch of satellites. I end up with 24, 25 satellites, but it can take it a while to find them.
Yeah, well, I mean, had it not been too windy, it really was verging on dangerous conditions for drone flying, even for the big fold-up drones.
Mm.
And normally I would have just put up the Mavic 3, flown it out, given it a bit of elevation, and it would have captured all the GPSs, if you know what I mean, and not worry about waiting for it on the ground. But the conditions were too dangerous to take that risk. I didn't feel like losing a $4,000 drone, over a GPS.
No.
Get the GPS first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at. I've got a couple of your videos, Ross. I sort of chose this one because I'm just like looking through people's videos. I like this one. I'm not sure how old it is, but there we are.
was superb.
Excellent.
Lovely.
It was a very, very hot morning that morning. I was there flying with a good friend, Francisco, who well, he's only got this drone, but yeah, it was hot. We were getting a suntan, and next thing you know, the tide started coming in, and we got soggy feet. We had to move our drones. Yeah, pretty little spot.
That was beautiful. Hey, I've got a question for you, Ross. If somebody's shopping for an Autel drone and they want a full-size drone, the Light Plus is very intriguing, but would you, because it's not that much more expensive, would you encourage them to buy the Evo 2 rather than the Light Plus, or you think the Light Plus is the sweet spot?
How do I define it? I mean, the Evo 2 Pro is a prosumer drone. Like it is a photographer's drone. I mean, whilst the app is a lot different in its setup to the Fly Go or Fly app. It's got all the setting parameters, for a professional photographer, with a drone. So and it is a beast. Like flown all of these drones a lot, and I find the Evo 2 Pro is an absolutely reliable workhorse. Like you can just throw it up and you know it's going to work. Everywhere there's a few people that from the DJI camp that'll whinge and complain about the color science, and that's fair enough. The color science is a lot different to the to DJI. This is on the Evo 2 Pro, not the new drones. But yeah, I think it's an absolutely sensational drone. When I look at when I had to fly at that waterfall, when you're getting on the verge of extreme conditions, there was only two choices. It was the Mavic 3 or the Evo 2 Pro, and I had to send up the Evo 2 Pro. But I just know it's going to be able to do its job. But in answer to your question, Marcus, the Nano, the imagery off the camera is absolutely astounding, but it's got a few niggling issues at the moment. You talk about the speed, all the speed issue. Okay, I can understand. People have got a gripe with Autel because the initial manufacturer's specs were for 15 meters a second, and they've downgraded it to 13. So I can understand people's gripe over them downsizing the specs, and it is more of an issue for people in the UK, Europe, and Canada and the like, where they have all the drone regulations which put these mini drones into the category where you don't need to get a license and all the rest. And it's a bit more difficult when you start getting up into the the bigger or the heavier drones. So the 250 gram drone is more important for people in those regions. But if you're in the likes of America, Australia, or wherever, it's irrelevant, the speed. It is completely irrelevant.
Well, not being funny, but a drone goes at the speed it goes, doesn't it? I mean, I've never actually thought about. Obviously, like an FPV drone, is a lot faster. But when I fly my Mini 2 or my Mavic 2 Pro, I'm not particularly worried how fast it goes. It's just
well, I mean, if you're going to buy a drone and you're worried about wind, don't buy a mini drone. It's a simple answer.
Well, you say that, but my DJI Mini 2. I'll tell them that is a bloody good drone in the wind. It really is.
Yeah, everyone says that about those.
The Mini 2 is. I must admit, if I have to compare flight characteristics, this guy flies a lot better than the Nano by a long shot.
I'm going to argue with you there a little bit, Ross. I love the flight controls on the Nano. It is so easy for me to place that drone where I want it to go and what I want it to do. But conversely, the speed issue is something that I worry about because of wind. In other words, there's places that I would have no problem putting the Mini 2 up, that I probably wouldn't put the Nano up because of wind.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, for people in the likes of America, Australia, or wherever, where they don't have those regulation requirements for 250s,
Yeah.
I say get over it. You know, just buy a bigger drone. There is no restrictions for you. Stop your whinging and buy a bigger drone.
Ross, you just touched a nerve with me. It's $5 to register your drone in the U.S. $5. Pay the $5. Get the drone you want.
Exactly.
But I still haven't answered your question, Marcus. So you got your Mano, and there is that random jello that Autel needs to fix. You know, I've seen some people that do have it, like yourself, Marcus.
Yeah.
I've even seen it myself in some of my footage. But I've seen other people with the Nano Plus, and I've seen no jello at all. So it's a bit odd. But that's something that Autel has to address. It's either a hardware or a firmware issue.
Yes.
But if you were thinking about entering into the dark side, you know, Autel, you know, this guy, this is the this is the Light Plus. It still has some firmware updates to come because it doesn't have a few features yet. So we're still waiting on that, but it won't take 3 months, I don't think.
You never know. No digging in, no digging detail. It's all there.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't say a thing.
No.
But I mean, all jokes aside, this is the drone that has surprised me the most. This is the Light Plus. The Light Plus is a direct competitor to the Mavic Air 2S. Probably the biggest feature that is missing at the moment is the 10-bit log. If they can throw that in onto the Light, well, then the Mavic Air 2S doesn't get a look in, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I've flown the Mavic Air 2S. I think it's the best drone in the DJI lineup. You know, value for money. It's a fantastic drone.
Totally agree.
Once this guy gets the 10-bit D-Log, everything on the spec sheet will blow the Mavic Air 2S out of the park, and it flies like a Mavic too, which is unlike the Evo 2 Pro, which flies more like a big heavy drone. You know, it's a bit slow off the mark and brakes slowly and all the rest. It doesn't have the responsiveness of a Mavic. This guy, the Light does. It's really agile to fly, but getting to the camera, I mean, it's got a 1-inch sensor, but it is a different sensor to the Evo 2 Pro, and the programming in it. They've got these two modes called a night mode and a super night mode. Now they're automatic settings, not manual settings. But if you're in a low light situation, the super light mode bumps the camera's ISO up to 48,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
And what Autel's done is they've thrown in some denoise algorithms, and it does it. You know, it's in the actual firmware, so it denoises the imagery straight away, and yeah. You get imagery. You get imagery off. It's not even the Light Plus. Even the Nano has that denoise algorithm. But I mean, you just don't get noise in the footage. And the low light capability of the Light, well, it's arguably better than the Mavic 3. And I know all the fanboys will say, no, that's rubbish, blah 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 blah. But I mean, I think who was it? Mark from California Phantom. he did an interesting comparison where he threw all three heavyweights. You know, the Evo 2 Pro, the Mavic 3, and the Lite. And with the Lite, he put it into that super night mode, and it was very, very distinct at how good the Lite Plus was in low light. But I mean, the point is, this guy, it's a consumer drone. The Lite is a consumer drone. The Mini is a consumer drone. But if you're an avid photographer and you want to play with settings, you want log, and you want to do all your or raw, and you want to do all your things, post editing, well, you buy this guy, the Mavic 3.
Well, the thing is, I mean,
you buy the Evo 2 Pro.
I mean, the thing is that they're all camera drones. I mean, there's cameras, we all know. I mean, you can buy a small click and play, camera that just takes a picture, which is good enough. Or you can buy a fully fledged SLR with all the frills and spills on it. We're talking about. I mean, someone asked a question on there, talking about that one you said was like the Air 2S, Ross. How does that compare price wise? I think Luke asked.
Oh yeah.
What's the price compared with the Air 2S?
The which drone?
The Lite. The one you said was like. Is it I'm not sure what it was. The Lite Plus. Was
the Lite Plus.
The Lite Plus. The Lite Plus is more expensive than the marginally more expensive than the Air 2S. That was the other thing I was going to say. That this Lite Plus, it has the same flight time, if not 1 or 2 minutes more flight time than the Mavic 3.
Right.
So Ross,
I can get 35 to 36 minutes out of the Lite Plus easy, which is the same if it's similar to the Mavic 3.
I mean, it seems to me from
Patrick's in Belgium, and he's got a big price difference between the two there.
Got Patrick, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
500 euros.
People accuse me of being an Autel fanboy, which I just laugh about because
doesn't matter if you are.
I've never think that, Ross. However, though, Ross,
I've got both manufacturers in the hangar, and I enjoy flying them all. It's probably that a lot of the content I post is more with the Autel, and the only reason why is that there is not much content from Autel. The DJI content is endless. I throw up a video and just add it to the collection of another 100 videos that came up that day.
I mean, the thing
that's the only reason why.
I mean, Gary was saying earlier on. I mean, I know Gary has been considering buying, and Gary is a massive Autel fan. And Gary did have the Autel Evo, the first drone, and I think from his point of view, if he is going to reintroduce himself to buy himself another drone, and you look at the Nano, then he wants a Nano without the Jello. Do you know what I mean? And the worry is, I mean, I said to Marcus, if you've got a drone that you've got problems with and they're not solving it, then box the thing up. There we are, Autel, have it back, give me money back. And Marcus' reply was, they stopped talking to him. What sort of customer service is that? That's not good, is it?
Let's make sure that we tell people that is Autel Pilots, the website, not Autel Robotics, the company. So that's an important.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But why can't you talk to the company then, Marcus?
Yeah. Understood.
Steve, Autel Pilots is a Chinese vendor in Shenzhen.
Right.
They're not part of the AliExpress group. So they play by their own rules.
Right. But I mean, surely
so if you've got a problem, they make they call to ignore you or to respond to you. But with the likes of AliExpress, you do have a dispute resolution process, even though you're dealing with Chinese vendors.
Yeah.
Or if you don't want those issues, you just deal with your local vendor. Doesn't matter whether it's DJI or Autel.
But I mean, the thing is, I mean, why do I see it? There's got to be the buck stops somewhere. Someone is responsible for after sales. And as far as I'm concerned, being in sort of like, if you like, in a different trade, but in a similar situation, when people have a problem, they come and speak to us, and it's dealt with one way or the other. It's replaced or repaired or whatever. You come to a resolution. No point in just saying, "Oh, I don't care, just go away and leave me alone." I mean,
that's not customer
it's
service.
not good.
My advice to Marcus is to send a ticket to Autel, or
I
speak
would,
to Ken Booth.
Definitely would.
Ken Booth at Ken Booth is the what do you call it? He's the problem solver. For
You described him to me as a test pilot one time, Ross.
Yeah, well, aren't we all test pilots when we get them straight off the
for sure with Hudson.
Yeah. I'd prefer to forget about the Hudson Xeno Mini Pro. I've heard that it's a lot better now, but it's taken about 6 months of firmware updates to get it, where it should be.
I don't understand why these companies release all these drones if they've got problems. Why don't they just get it perfect and then sell it?
It seems to be common play right across the board. I mean, the Mavic 3 is the same.
Yeah.
I think realistically, I think what it is a lot of the time, obviously they've invested a lot of money in these drones, and they're going to think, well, I'll tell you what, we'll put it out there and we'll just tell people, well, we're going to get this fixed and that fixed, but it's not really the way to do it. But hey, people still go out and buy it, so it doesn't matter, does it?
I'll draw a little distinction with DJI in that when I bought that Mavic 3, I knew that all those features were not going to be there, as opposed to when I bought that Autel mini drone. They didn't say anything about those features not being ready and being ready to go.
I mean, and the thing is, Marcus, I mean, you bought that knowing full well, but you also know you've got the respect of DJI's service. I mean, I've never had any issues. I know other people have, but I've never had any problems. But I have had problems with my drone. The first Mavic Pro I bought, it come with 3 batteries. One battery was dead as a doornail. I contacted them within a day. There was a label sent to me, put it on a parcel, straight back, replaced.
Yeah,
so let me. I need to dive into a little bit of that thought process on buying that Mavic 3, knowing that everything wasn't going to be ready, right? So I would, like everybody else, I couldn't believe the price. I'm going, God, $2,100 and everything isn't here yet and all that. And my friend Mike Wright was sitting next to me. He just hit that buy button right there. He wasted no time. And then I got to thinking, Marcus, you're going to buy this drone at some point anyway. Why not just buy it now? So I did, knowing that stuff wasn't there.
Marcus, I've had good customer service with both DJI and Autel. I mean, this guy, the Mini 2, on my second flight, I was up near that waterfall from that video the other day at the Canyon Lookout. And on the second flight, I had it straight out from this lookout about 20 meters, and I was talking to this roadworks worker who came down to have a look. And I looked out at the Mini and I heard it go, zzz, and off it went. And I'm trying to correct the controls, and nothing happened. And I thought, oh, here we go. And I heard it crash into the trees about 100 meters down the canyon wall.
Oh God!
Anyway, and I looked, to fly my drone, and I thought, oh, I might be able to find that. So I walked down along the because it's heavily timbered on the canyon wall edge. And I went right down to the edge of the canyon wall, trying not to fall off the edge of the cliff. Almost dead. Anyway, and I found this in a top of really a big clump of, I don't know, it's like a grass tree.
Yeah.
Sent in lodged a ticket with DJI, sent it into them, and in about a week's time, they said, look, it's got a faulty motherboard.
Send it
and
back.
they replaced it and sent it back.
Funny you mentioned that, Ross. That's the exact same thing that happened to me. I went over the first flight, went over the Snake River Canyon, and it went into a death spiral.
It did,
yeah. Yes, remember that one.
Yeah, and I was able to recover it, but I did just what you did. And less than a week later, I had another drone in my hand.
So what
Yeah,
would have
They told me
happened,
the same
though,
thing.
if you hadn't been able to recover it? What would have happened if it had gone down? Would they have replaced it without you handing it in?
I believe they would have, because you could have turned the flight records into them, and they would have seen the issue. Yeah.
It was interesting with the Mini. I looked at the flight logs, and you could see my sticks. Well, I wasn't doing the input, but the sticks would. Sorry, one of the right stick was doing double actions at the one time.
No.
And
Those flight logs are
I
fascinating.
said to DJI, I said, "Can you tell me how I can do left and right at the same
At the
time?"
same time.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's quite an achievement.
yeah, I'm ambidextrous.
That's what you did, Jackie. With your spark.
Yeah, I should have sent
Oh,
those
you
flight
had to
logs
go
in,
there,
shouldn't I?
Steve. You had to go there.
But the other side of the
Sorry,
coin, I was going to say, the other side of the coin with customer service, I did a firmware update with the Evo 2 Pro, the last firmware, and it completely bricked my controller, just nothing. And I rang up Ken Booth and tried to get some resolve, with the interaction, and to no avail. And I spoke to Alexandro by email at Autel, and he said, "Look, you send your controller back to us, and we'll just do a swap." And sure enough, I sent it over, and I had a new controller within, 2 or 3 weeks. However long the express pace took, but I mean, that, and again, another very good customer service outcome. So look, I can only speak highly of customer service, and I hear so many bad stories, because I mean, on social media, that's all you hear is the bad
thing is,
news.
a lot of time, Ross, when you think about it, we talk about reviews on things, and let's face it, most people don't leave reviews until it's a bad one, do they?
Yeah, it's a good one. They
Well, I
don't
mean,
do that.
If you're,
Social media seems to be a medium for people to make their complaints so they get
Well, of course.
a resolve from the manufacturer.
Exactly.
So have you actually tried ringing the manufacturer or
Well,
contacting them?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a winking
Unfortunately,
media.
that is the problem there. But
Anyway,
Anyway,
well, where is the top? Well, I don't know when the time's gone tonight, Ross.
no, it's flash pass. It's time for
We
a
had so
film.
much planned, and yeah, it's like we better quickly watch this other video before
the joke.
before the. Let's go.
That was beautiful.
You asked me to show another video, Ross, but I will show that. Hope to find that next week. You'll have to send me links. I couldn't find it, so my apologies for that. But anyway.
A good friend of mine lives in the Glasshouse Mountains, and he looks over the top of that Mount Beerwall. Not over the top, but he's on the top of a rise, and from his lounge room window, you can see that Mount Beerwall directly from his lounge room window.
Someone asked a question
actually on here. If it was Kim asked the question, where was it? Somewhere.
Do you colour correct?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
you want to know, are they extinct volcano plugs?
Yeah. Here we go. I've done too much research here, so that 28 million year old volcanic plugs.
Oh wow!
Wow.
And Captain Cook, talking about Captain Cook, who was the first first European or Englishman to run up the east coast of Australia, and from his ship, he saw those mountains and elected to call them the Glasshouse Mountains, because they look like the glass houses in the UK or England, should I say?
I was going to say volcanic. Would it be because of obsidian? You know, so often we would, when I was a kid, I lived near some volcanic areas, and there'd be these big flows of obsidian, and we'd call them glass flows, because that's essentially what obsidian is. But so I misunderstood why they would call it the glass.
Yeah, they're volcanic plugs. My friend I was talking about, he climbs them once or twice a week. He's a mountain goat. Honestly,
nice.
he's as fit as a fiddle.
Jackie going right out. One person.
Jackie, if you lived in this area, you would have a field day.
Yeah.
Mark has been thinking, not me. Yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, let it go.
So he'd be like, nah, send it out.
Jackie, get out of here now.
Yeah.
We want to find it, but we're not sure we could. That's the thing.
I'll give it a go. I'll probably put a foot on the ladder and think, nah, I'll do. Anyway.
Jackie, my friend keeps asking me to climb some of those bigger peaks there. And I said, look, I'm happy to climb them, but as long as you've got the ambulance waiting at the bottom.
Helicopter will bring you down.
Yeah. Or the air sea rescue.
Anyway,
Right.
Yeah.
Is that time again?
You know.
And now it's time for Terry's Joke of the Week.
Terry.
No, I honestly thought you'd forgotten, but
No chance.
Yeah.
Come on.
What? Ethel checked into a motel on her 65th birthday. She was lonely, a little bit depressed at her advancing age, so decided to risk an adventure. She thought, I'll call one of those men you see advertised in the phone books for escorts and sensual massages. She looked through the yellow pages, found a 4-page ad for a guy calling himself Tender Tony. A very handsome man with assorted physical skills, flexing in the photo. He had all the right muscles in all the right places, thick, wavy hair, long, powerful legs, a dazzling smile, and a 6-pack abs. And she felt quite certain she could bounce a dime off his well-oiled bum. Well, she figured, what the heck? Nobody will ever know. I'll give him a call. Good evening, ma'am. How can I help you? Oh, my. He sounds so sexy. I'll repeat that. Good evening, ma'am. How can I help you? Oh, my. He sounded so sexy. Afraid she would lose her nerve if she hesitated. She rushed right in. I hear you give a great massage. I'd like you to come to my hotel room and give me one. No, wait. Should be straight with you. I'm in town all alone, and what I really want is sex. I want it hot. I want it now. Bring implements, toys, anything you've got in your bag of tricks. We'll all go all night. Tie me up, cover me in chocolate syrup, whipped cream, anything and anything, everything. I'm ready. Now, how does that sound? Sounds absolutely fantastic. But you need to press 9 for an outside line.
Oh, dear.
joke of the week.
She thought it was funny as well. Paper.
I did like that when I saw it. I thought, oh, no, I'll have that one.
Is that the Mavic 2 Pro, Jackie?
That's
Platinum.
the Platypus.
That's the platinum.
Yeah,
Platinum.
platinum.
That's the one
Oh,
after the
right.
Mavic Pro.
Mavic Pro Platinum.
Yeah.
Mavic Pro
Oh,
Platinum,
Mavic
yeah.
Pro Platinum.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good comment so far, Steve. Best yet.
Gary, well, that's right, because Gary's gone.
Johnny missed that one.
That's what I
Luke!
thought.
No, Luke, no.
That's what I thought.
Oh, come on, Luke. What?
Luke will ban you.
Oh, geez.
It's the family show.
Oh, dear. Well, it was till Terry told that joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You have a
like
great repertoire of jokes there, Terry, I must admit.
Oh, I tell you what, it takes me ages. No, it doesn't now, actually, Ross. I've managed to find them quite better.
even Caroline liked that one. If Caroline liked it, it must have been good, Terry.
Wow, yeah.
Good, yeah. Jeannie liked it.
And Jeannie liked it as well. There we are.
Jeannie did.
Yeah, there we are.
I've got another one, but it's very near the mark, isn't it, Kev?
Just a bit.
I'll get to where these jokes are coming from now, Kevin.
One or two.
Oh, dear.
I've just got. I watched this video. It's a very short video. I think we haven't got time to watch it because it fascinated me. I think really, but hopefully no one ever gets in this situation.
Wow. That was brilliant.
That's nearly 2 rounds.
Could you just imagine that?
Some good piloting skills there.
I must admit, I was just waiting for that to go terribly wrong.
I'd use a longer stick.
So there's a Mavic Air, Mavic 2 Air.
Air 2S rescued a Mavic.
Air 2S.
So it's obviously got some sort of pole with a hook on the end of it. I mean, it must be pretty close together because you can see. I mean, the drone was going out of focus. It was so close to it.
That's very good piloting. Yeah.
Most people don't even fly
the
anywhere
second
near
pilot,
trees.
not the
They're
first
in the
pilot.
tree.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those you flying in the tree. How did it happen? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I watched that. I was like, I must show it because it's, I just thought, is this gonna go right? This is put the decorations up
In the tree.
in the tree.
Yeah.
Well done, Caroline.
I was supposed to be a star. Oh, right, okay. Right, well, Ross, thanks once again for coming on because it's been educational as always. I mean, you want to know
And for getting up so early as well.
and of course for getting up at sort of silly o'clock in the morning in Australia, because obviously Ross is in Australia and it's actually Monday morning, and so if you want to know how Monday morning is going to turn out, look behind you.
Ross.
Yeah, I'll go back to bed now and have a sleep in.
And you'll wake up and it'll be Tuesday morning before you know it.
Yeah.
Tell your wife that we're sorry too, Ross, please.
Yeah,
Oh, she's up now. I literally saw her come up the stairs over the top of the laptop. She has awoken. Yeah. Now I can be noisy.
It's too late now. I was a quick question. Was it Ross? Do you got any color correcting real tell your videos straight out of the SD card?
No, the that's probably a point I never made before. Is the color science out of the Nano and the light is excellent. Like personally, I find it as good as the Hasselblad color science on those two drones, as opposed to the Evo 2 Pro. The Evo 2 Pro was hard work with the color science, but the Nano and the light, it's just straight off the SD card, is fantastic. It's very good. I don't know. What do you think, Marcus?
Yeah, no, well, listen, the Nano, I just think the camera is brilliant on it. If not for the Jello, it takes unbelievable video. Yeah, I keep telling people, it has moments of brilliance. The
Nano. It's the Nano that has the Nanos has the issues. The Light Plus doesn't.
Right.
And I just find the look. To be quite honest, I'll finish off by saying that Light Plus has moments of brilliance where the imagery I find is actually better than the Mavic 3. And I'm not saying it's better, but it has moments where it is. The dynamic range is just astounding, and the color science. I mean, you can take stuff straight off the SD card, and without editing. It's very good. I sing praises for their new drones. Not the Nano. Not it's got issues. Light Plus, I only sing praise. The Evo, unbelievable drone. Color science needs some work. The Mavic 3, unbelievable drone. It's got its own issues, probably more in the United States than anywhere else with the GPS. And the APAS needs some work too.
Let's put it this way, Ross. There's more people in the United States bitching about it than anybody else.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
thanks,
it was just funny that I got it, the other day. I couldn't believe it. I thought it's not supposed to happen here. Anyway, whatever.
Okay. Right. Thanks very much, everyone. And thanks for watching. And we'll see you all again next week. We'll be doing it all again. Take care, guys.